If you saw my August new releases video, you know that I was pretty excited about this book, which has to do with modern technology and how it might affect our culture, our societal expectations, and so on into the future. I find that a very fascinating topic, one I love to explore, and I love it when a good fiction really makes a certain statement about that in its own unique sci-fi sort of way. So I did have high hopes. I don't think I set my expectations too high, but I definitely wanted this to be of the caliber of those type of books that I've enjoyed over the years. And I feel like it had a lot of potential to do so, but in the end fell really, really flat. This book is about a company called The Cloud, which in closest parameters could be compared to Amazon in the sense that it's like a huge company and it offers a great deal of convenience to its customers. It's also pushing forward a lot of technology that didn't exist before, fast shipping times, etc., 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 as you can imagine. So in this book, Cloud is one of the only successful companies in America, and America outside of the Cloud has kind of become a depressing place because there's only a few businesses that are doing successful, so it means that elsewhere people suffer. If you're not in the cloud system, you're not in a system you want to be in, and there's really no good choices anymore. The world Rob Hart had created for this book had a great deal of potential. There was a million avenues we could have explored to really look at this world at the whole and get an idea of whatever statement Rob Hart was trying to make when he set out to write this book. Regarding statements, I fully believe that books like this within the science fiction genre have to make a statement. You have to say something if you're going to be sort of criticizing modern society or future society in a way that is intended to be helpful or beneficial or stimulate the minds of the modern reader. And when you fail to make that statement, I think it's an incredible disservice to your own work and to the people you're selling your book to, frankly, because you're not really saying anything. That was my biggest issue with this book, though there were quite a few others. It's that it seemed to have a great concept and then be directionless. At the end, you wonder, what were you trying to say? Or what was the point of all this drudgery that we just went through? And you never really get that answer, or you never get it strong enough for this book to be what it could have been, in my opinion. The book goes through three characters. We have one male who is starting work at the cloud company, which is the same company that put his startup out of business. And he is convinced this is a temporary thing, and he gets hauled into a job he doesn't want to be in. We have another character who is a woman who is seeking to exploit this company to share some of its problems with her employer, who is a separate entity that is using her as an investigator and to look into the cloud system so that they can either hack it or prove that they are not up to the standard they say they are. The third is the CEO of this company who is about to die. And so he is sort of forced into retirement and is going on a loop through all of the cloud business locations and talking about how he built the company and who he's going to leave the company to. So frankly, I feel that those characters have fantastic opportunity to tell us a great narrative within this world. Unfortunately, what ends up happening is a pretty decent start, but then we just sort of stagnate and we never go anywhere. And it gets quite intense as far as boredom. And I think sometimes he was trying to illustrate the repetitive nature of this society and the trapped feeling, but he would tell it and write it in a way that was quite boring. And while I think the attempt was to make the reader feel as bored as his characters did, there's a way to make your readers feel and appreciate and relate to that boredom without actually boring them. And by this, I mean there's literal paragraphs of them filling product orders, and it's just paragraphs full of products. And I'm not kidding. And I feel like that was an artistic move, but one that is better in theory than in execution. So while I see what he was trying to do there, I don't think it works in a way that is beneficial to the novel as a whole. A romance sort of develops between the two characters who are working at Cloud, but it's kind of weird, it's kind of awkward, and I'm not really convinced by either of them. And I had to skim the last half of this because I got 200 pages in and I simply couldn't take it anymore. So if that tells you anything, basically where we're at is that I do not recommend this book, though I feel like it was a great idea. I don't feel like it was executed as well as it could be. I also feel like this author has a great deal of potential within himself outside of the scope of this work, and that perhaps if he had thought about the story as a whole from middle to end instead of just the beginning and just the concept, we could have had great things. And I hope that he will continue to write and give us what will hopefully be, his thing, his piece, his good book that will be onto the world. Because I truly do think there's a lot of ways that this author could have delivered a great book, and I hope he will in the future. But for this one, it's a no. It was a 2-star for me, because I didn't think it was the worst ever. But when I can't get through it, then something's very wrong, and I definitely thought there were good moments, but nah, girl, it ain't worth your time. Don't do it. So that is my honest review of The Warehouse by Rob Hart. This book was gifted to me by the publisher for feature and review. Obviously, that has no impact on my feelings or what I share with you about the book. It never does. All of my reviews are always super, super honest. If I wasn't honest, what are we even doing this for? So that's what I think about The Warehouse. If you liked this video, give it a quick thumbs up before you go. Drop me a comment below if you are planning on reading this, or if you have books that you feel would be great for me to read that are about futuristic technology or modern technology now and how it might affect our culture, then I would love to hear your recommendations. Drop them below. And if you're new here and you haven't subscribed yet, but you like all things bookish, book reviews, book hauls, TBRs, all the good bookish stuff, I'm your girl. So go ahead, press that subscribe button, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys.